Hello, and welcome to my creative world. It's a bit of a change from my typical survival mode stuff, but I've actually got quite a bit going on in IRL. I'm in the process of moving, stepping forward into the next chapter of my life, which means I haven't had a lot of time to play Minecraft. And that, and also the struggling survival server alongside all of my worldly possessions are currently packed away. But I have been getting the itch to actually make a video because it has been a minute. So here we are. Now the idea for this video is it's going to be very similar to episode 7. That video was just kind of basically me rambling for like 2 hours about my current thought process and just like a more general process for how I build and think about building, mainly like an improvised build and survival. And after I did that video, I want to do one in creative mode, since creative is where I do a lot of my designing and building. So here we are. So that video and this video are mainly actually for future me. I want to have these as like a little benchmark for how I'm thinking, how I'm going about the whole building process. And then if anything changes 1, 2, 5 years down the line, I think it'll be really cool to have like this little snapshot for me to look back on and see like, oh, I do this differently, I think this way now. And then of course little cherry on top is that if anybody else now finds this interesting or useful, that's wonderful. So I guess step 1 for me at least is kind of figuring out what I'm doing. What I want, what some context for this build, and that will like inform what designs I want to do, I suppose. So this is going to be a housing for a glow lichen farm. I need a glow lichen farm, and yet this is going to go on. I'm going to build this at some point on the struggling survival server, and the glow lichen farm is going to be put in an area that I've been referring to as the botanical gardens. The goal of that area, my plan is it's going to be built around a large central building that'll house 4 moss farms, among other things. And moss farms, you can get a ton of bone meal from them, and I want to have all of the bone meal based plant farms around this central building, so that way I can just take the bone meal out from that building, and all the little buildings are just right there for just some like logistics and efficiency and all that jazz. And this is the first one that I'm going to design. I have the actual big building mostly designed, and I haven't really given this glow lichen farm much thought aside from the fact that I need it. So this is going to be, this video might be a little messy because I'm just going to be, over the next few days, maybe even like week, I'm just going to be popping in and doing a little building here and there, and just trying to keep you in the loop for like what I'm thinking. So to start off, I want to actually like build the redstone, just like so I get an idea of like how big it's going to be and what I need to fit into it. And I have some thoughts for a few bells and whistles that I want to add onto the redstone. I don't have a great idea of like any sort of theme that I want for this build yet. That'll come after the redstone. So I'll build the redstone and get back to you, I guess. Alright, so here you have some certified J-Blocks redstone. It's a very, very, very simple little thing. I was thinking of putting myself in a survival to test this, but that might be a bad idea. So, I mean, yeah, basically have a lever here, turns it on, bone meal's in there, and then you can just kind of break this. And I have it, this is like I don't know if this is like good redstone, but it's a thing that I like using. When you power a copper bulb, like the red thing, that pulsing, is also a state change, so you can kind of like double up the amount of pulses an observer reads off of that, which I think is triggering this like slightly faster. So this will just, it's slightly more efficient, I think. Is it the most efficient? No, but it's my efficient. I made this. And then we have this little light system here that'll go off if this runs out of bone meal, which, oh, it's not using it because it's oh, beautiful. Yeah, so yeah, you just sit here with like shears and mine this. So the plan is I'm gonna put in like a floor at like this level. What's it gonna be made out of? I don't know. And then I want to have some sort of staircase here. Also, I kind of like the slabs. Like, if you can like see a little gap in there, I'll make it like kind of farmhousey. And then you hop up here. Sounds mod, or sound physics remastered. Clicking. Silence. It's lovely. So yeah, extra bone meal can go in here. Have a little double chest for overflow, and then you can just sit here with shears and mine away. So this has all the information you need. You need to fill it with bone meal. You turn it on. So I think this is a good size. I'm very happy with this. I also like something I've been trying to do is if I'm making a farm, I want to actually like incorporate the redstone into it so you can get like a little bit of motion. So, you know, that goes up, and then you also get the bar snapping to the observer. It's just like a bit of something. Makes it feel more like a machine. And you'll have like this light flickering up there once this is all actually like enclosed in a room. So that'll add a lot more movement, or it'll make it more dynamic, I hope. And then of course, all these particles and such. So that's the idea. And now I need to figure out kind of what blocks I actually want to use here and the style of building that I want to build around this. What I'm leaning towards right now is maybe doing kind of like a cottage cabin, some sort of like old cobblestone looking building, kind of in the same vein as like the houses that I built around the main town area on the Struggling Survival server. It's my current thought, but I don't want to like copy those exactly because I built so many of those. I want this to actually look distinct, maybe have its own color palette and such. Maybe I'll start off by just getting this a bit more decorated and then see what like wall colors speak to me after that. I think that could be fun. Or maybe I will try and incorporate some cobblestone in. That's what I'm thinking right now. We'll see. Get building. Back in, inventory is full. You'll love to see it, because this has taken a turn that I did not really see coming. I thought this was going to be more of like a proper building, but it's turned into more of like a shed gazebo type thing. And honestly, I'm really vibing with it. But I kind of did want to have like a video dedicated to like my process for a building, so maybe I'll have to do this again. But I'm actually really happy about this. Just going all in on like the theme of showing the redstone. This lever here, by the way, this is structural. It's so that way when you turn the machine on and off, this trapdoor doesn't get toggled. and I haven't actually played that much on 1.21.4 or 1.21.5. This is 1.21.5 now, so this is my first time actually really, let's sink my teeth into the new blocks, and I'm really loving how like overgrown it's feeling in here. And I still need to do some texturing on like these rocks and maybe edit the shape and also figure out what I want to do back here. But I really like this little shed. Got a little weird like zigzag pattern on the roof. It doesn't bother me that they don't match. And then I do want to add like a little extra something up to the roof there, but I'm really liking this. Like this feels like some sort of like storage shed that you'd find just in a botanical garden. Also this area here is looking a little too square. I want to be more roughed up, more shaped, so I need to figure that out. But it's not going in the direction that I thought it would, and I'm pretty happy with it though. So I'm gonna just keep plugging away, and we'll see what happens. I lied. I want to talk a bit about this a bit more, because if the whole point is for me to explain my thought process, I think I should do that better. So, as you saw, like I've been kind of just going through and texturing, and like my block choice here was kind of arbitrary. Honestly, it was mainly based off of I want to use some of the new blocks, especially like this carpet, because like I knew it did this, and I felt like this sort of thing creeping up the wall would pair nicely in a glow lichen farm, and that kind of informed the tuff here. And then the other thing is, I have this copper bulb in here for the function of this machine, and I was just going through and thinking, like that blue looks kind of nice, and I wanted to just like tie in some more blue to like accentuate that, have that actually teal, blue, turquoise, what have you, actually have that be in the color scheme of the main building. So I just literally just let's try putting a row of trapdoors up here, because I wanted to have something kind of bordering in this machine. So the idea, my original thought was to have this machine be like in the corner of a building, like in a room. And I built this up, and I was just looking at it and thought that's kind of cool. So extend it out, extend it down, and then that was kind of like the groundwork for me turning it more into like this open shed, was just placing this row of blocks here. So this has basically been me just like looking at what I did for this machine and kind of extrapolating it a little bit. So lichen inspired moss carpet, which inspired this little area, so a bit of like gray colors in here, and then this pop of blue inspired this frame. Putting this frame down inspired like what the build actually is, and now here we are. And then I did a spruce roof, because spruce is just the best wood type. There's not many other trapdoors that are nice and solid like that. Like it's just the best. I will not be taking any discussions. Yeah. Anyway, now I've dug myself into that hole. Is there anything else that I want to kind of go over? So I have like this image in my head. I actually grew up kind of close to a botanical garden, and in it, like the main building that was there was this just like cobblestone, 2-story cobblestone house that's just kind of off to the side, super overgrown. And that's kind of, I think that's been like the main image in my head that's been like inspiring this build. So that's why, I was thinking like cobblestone building of some sorts. And so that's why I decided, okay, if I'm thinking cobblestone building, let's just put cobblestone down to get these walls in and see where that goes. I do like it. I'm gonna texture it. I maybe just throw in like the classic deep slate and tough, and that should be plenty. I can maybe get away with some andesite on like the walls here. Or I could also maybe incorporate this gradient a bit more. Maybe lean a bit more into the white, get to play around a bit with the pale wood, and actually put this gradient in. If I want it to be open concept, maybe I could put some like fences here. Do like a gray to white gradient or something. I'm gonna mess around with that. Well, that just sounds kind of cool. All right, So yeah, I have a plan. Hopefully this has been coherent and informative. I'll keep plugging away, and then for real this time, I will report back when I'm done. So something that I've been using a lot more recently like last year or so, is the Axiom mod, and I like it a lot more than World Edit. Because it's just very easy to use and very freaking cool. So now I can see the side better. It's so intuitive, integrate. Oh, I love Axiom. I love Axiom. Makes building things so much faster. All right. I put down this bit of moss here. I think ideally I want it to actually be grass in like the final build, but the one unfortunate thing about not working in a super flat is that there's biomes, and you know, the grass here in the jungle is a bit more vibrant than it is in the plains where I will actually be building this, so this is a closer match. So I get like an idea of the vibe. Oh, this is another perfect use for Axiom. We'll just pop up. Perfect, look at that. Ah, it's so fast, I love it. Okay, so just in here, I added a bit of like fencing to make this kind of look like scaffolded up. I really like how this looks. I think this feels a bit too blank. I do like the bricky, or I like these blocks. For me, these feel like very technical blocks. It's just a personal preference vibe thing. And to each their own. The texturing here, I really like the white. I just threw in these rails just because I felt like I needed something on top. I kind of like them. I feel like they go pretty nicely with like the spruce roof here. So I'll be keeping them. Honestly, maybe I could. I don't hate that. Honestly. Kind of goes with that. And add some texture. Oh, yeah, we're keeping that. We're keeping that. I'm really happy with this. Throw in some candles because candles are amazing. And I don't want to go like too crazy on this because I don't want to like, you know, overload it with detail. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with this. I think it just needs a few more little details. But for the most part, I think this is gonna be it. Not at all what I had in mind, building wise or honestly video wise. I'm gonna probably be doing another one of these at some point when I have a bigger building that I need to design, so I guess stay tuned for that. But this is cool. I'm excited to get this built on the server. And I get the other thing too, is this is not as big and complicated as I thought it was gonna be. So at this point, it's designed. There's really no excuse to not get this built as soon as I'm back on and have this stuff. So maybe we won't see a Pale Garden for another like 10 episodes. Who knows? I think I'm gonna call this done and designed. As the sun sets on it. Actually, this is a good little test real quick, because I do want to see, I think it is valuable to like check and see how they glow at night. I know I could keep it stuck at day, but I do like it like slipping into night and then actually being able to see like the illumination. Like this looks cool. And the botanical gardens, I want to have them like fully lit up. So I'll have like sconces with lanterns on them or something around so that mobs can't get me. That is the one fear I have with this, is that I'll be sitting here, you know, in Lichen mode, and a creeper will just like blow me up. But that's a risk I'm willing to take. Yeah. I guess one other quick note, like I guess on the this letting the server slip into night, that actually helped inform the design of a couple buildings over here, which you might recognize. Specifically, the like chicken area here. You know, it became night when I was designing this, and I was looking at it, and it looked weird. Like with it being completely dark at night, it just didn't feel quite right. Honestly, it kind of looks like how this wall of the theater looks. But I think with the theater, it's a bit more acceptable, like for it to be all blacked out, and I do have like the moody lighting from the glow lichen on the edges here. And actually, you know, this building and the lichen that's along the rim is a big part of what has been motivating me to design that. We do a zoomed in pan to avoid spoiling any other buildings I may have in the background. However, this is the unfortunate thing about letting it slip into night. This is my average creative chat log. This face is too blank. Let's put something on that. This is just gonna be unedited, me messing around, figuring out what I want to put on it. So the first thing I think is a button, especially like on this sort of block. And since I have this chisel block here, you know, putting a button on that wall like that kind of fits. I guess my one fear with this is that you'd be able to power this redstone, but honestly, powering this redstone isn't actually that big of an issue. I wonder if it do anything weird. It doesn't do anything weird with the trapdoor. That's a win. Because like all it'll do is power this lamp, but that doesn't really matter. It's just indicator lamp for the redstone, or bone meal, my bad. Okay. I guess what other options would there be? I was thinking a grindstone might look interesting. Honestly, grindstone might fit in well here. I don't know if that like... Not sure if that feels a little too... I did like having the hole there, so maybe if I put that there. I think I liked the white more, honestly. Alright. So a lot of my building is just kind of stuff like this, tweaking it, and then swapping out blocks, which is very easy to do when creative with the right tools. So maybe a iron bar could fit there nicely. Yeah. I guess, yeah, a big part of my process is just try not to be too hesitant about trying things. And something that's really nice with something like Axiom is if I like the state of this, but I still want to mess around with it, what I'll do is I'll make a copy of it, just move it over here, and then demolish that building, just knowing that I have this backup effectively. And we can actually see that over here. This was actually the start of the theater. I was building this, and in the process I was thinking, I really wish I had the pale wood. So I just kind of stopped and decided to try again. And so this was like a complete restart. And so I started with this for the actual just front face of the theater. So I was building this, and we got to the roof, and I was just looking at it thinking like, this is a little too big. But I didn't want to like break this and like destroy everything up top here. So what I did was I just took that and I copied it right over here. And then just kind of riffing off of that, turned into the completed theater building. Just copy features, that sort of thing, and messing around and not being afraid, or like not being too hesitant to try messing around with, or try messing up a build or breaking it down, especially once you've made the copy. Like if you can copy it, you can do whatever you want to the build. It's fine. Nothing's sacred. It's great. World edit, axiom, any way of copying a building just somewhere else and messing with it is worked. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Yeah, and also just like scrapping something and trying again is valid. And I really like like this world I've had since like 2019. There's a lot of builds sitting around in it that are just like junk. That I was building them and I looked at it and just thought, I kind of hate this. And then I just leave it there and I move to the side and I try again. And then you can kind of, it's really cool to actually like see the progression, like what we just did for the theater, and see like, you know, my old junk build, and then version 2, which is a little bit more improved, and then version 3, which is actually the thing, which looks cool and I'm happy with. This I kind of lucked out, and I think I find this with like a lot of smaller builds. I generally kind of work them, shape them into something that I like pretty easily first go. And so just like, you know, improv it and yeah, tweak it, sculpt it. But then like larger buildings, those are where I actually get more into the I'm building it, and then sometimes it's something that I don't like. I was hoping that that would happen here, but it didn't. And that's just how it is sometimes. It's our process is very loose, free flowing. And that's all to say, I think I want to put that button there. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this is interesting. I will be seeing you again in the future. Bye-bye. Editor's note: it is incredibly important to draw your bounding box properly when using Axiom, otherwise you may end up doing some things like this. But it's an easy enough fix. What we need to do is take you and drag you there, and it's like it never happened.